Good afternoon, welcome to this week's midweek tips. Today it's going to be on ringing birds, why we ring them and how I cover them up to stop ring rejection from birds. Before I do that, I want to say a massive thank you to Peter Hook for his donation to the channel. So thanks very much, Peter, really appreciated. And thanks to everyone that has, to our regular customers as well as new customers that do buy from us. We are doing it for you guys to keep the cost of bird keeping down. Just a quick one on a question, and we don't usually do questions on midweek ones, but this was asked a long time ago, and it's from Birdie in Florida in America. Thanks very much for watching. Obviously it's a long way away, different time zones and things like that, but your question was about things on that we can put on the floor, the cage floors, and what would be best for when you've got chicks. Now, I only use Easy Bed now because I can get it, resell it, and it works wonders for me, especially with bigger birds that are blowing the particles around you. If you use light sawdust or shavings, my birds will just blow it out of the cage in no time. So let's run through. You can use paper. Nothing wrong with paper if you can get in abundance. Easy to clean out, easy to dispose of. Secondly, sawdust, like I said. Downside to sawdust is the birds will, when they're flying around, will actually disperse some from the bottom of the floor, and it'll end up everywhere. You're constantly sweeping up. Easy Bed, which I use, great, absorbs water, stays where it's meant to be. There is also gold chip bedding. I don't use it, it's slightly more expensive than Easy Bed. It's just not really for me. Cat litter, another one. Bear in mind with cat litter that if you've got a lot of cages that you're going to clean out, maybe 10 to 30 cages, and covering the bottom of the cage significantly enough to cover it, and it's really good for absorbent, especially the kitten one. It's really good. Can't remember the name of it. But when you go to clean them birds out, that cat litter is going to be quite heavy. Obviously it's harder to dispose of than what paper or sawdust is. Another one is bird sand. Versalager, I know do bird sand because I've got a couple of sacks of it myself. Which has got little bits of fine oyster grit in there so the birds can pick it up. And the second part of the question was, what is best for when you've got chicks in the cages or for flights? They're all just as good as each other. It's just personal preference. Paper, like I said, it will absorb everything. When they're defecating over the side, if no one knows what that means, that's shitting over the side. It will absorb all that. They're all pretty much the same. I mean, the chicks, once they've left the nest, will pick bits of this and that up anyway regardless. It's not going to be any harm to them. One also, I did say this to a lady the other day, dry bird. Dry bird is really good. I used to use it a few years ago and it says dust free, but it's actually not. It's not dust free at all. None of the products, paper's dust free obviously, but even the Easy Bed is not dust free. So, any of those really. Now onto the ringing side of things. Now we have to do this to keep the hobby going and to make sure that the birds, especially the British counterparts, are bred in captivity and you've got no doubt whatsoever. Last thing you want to do is spend quite a bit of money on a pair of goldfinches, greenfinches, bullfinches or whatever, and find out that the rings have been tampered with and they're not legitimately bred in captive. So that's why we do it. Canaries and zebra finches, your foreign finches, they don't by law have to be close rung. I am ringing a 5 today because obviously same size E-ring as what I ring my green finches with, but the reason I do it is because I can actually show where that bird comes from. It's got my ring code on, shows the date, or well the year should I say, and it just makes everything simple so I can actually trace back to the parentage and so on and so on. So you will see in the picture, what I do, instead of banding the rings, you can get proper banding stuff, it's like elastic type stuff, band, and you band them to cover the ring up to stop ring rejection. I've had this myself last year with greenfinches, uh, especially with the IO rings not being brown like the British Bird Council ones are, and they see something in the nest and they try to pick it up, and chances are they'll pick the chick up if it's 5 days plus, and they'll end up throwing that out and there's nothing they can do about it. But my birds are now at that age, the youngest ones are about 5 days old, so I'm going to ring one of them and I'm going to show you obviously what I've done. But like I said, instead of the ring bands, what I do is use masking tape, just cut into little strips and just wrapped around the ring, 'cause it's more natural looking than most things you can get, and a hell of a lot cheaper. I think it's what, £1 for 2 big rolls of masking tape. You're never going to go through that in a year, no matter how many birds you're breeding. So, and it's more natural looking to the actual leg than what this year. I think the rings are purple, and just by wrapping that around it makes it look more leg coloured, so it doesn't stand out in the nest as much. Some birds won't reject the rings anyway. It's down to, again, about monitoring your birds and monitoring the parents, see what they do. And a good tip to think about is either do it in the morning if you've got a lot of time, and watch the birds, make sure that they're not going to reject the ring or try and pull it off the bird, or late at night, which I do. In an ideal scenario, I'd have done mine at 7, 8 o'clock at night, just before the lights go out, that type of thing. But for the purpose of this video, it's going to be done now. So, this is the process I do of bringing the bird. It is quite simple, and you will see there will be a diagram of exactly what to do. But just before I do the video, it's basically 3 claws forward, 1 back, flip the ring over, pulling it back, and this claw here will go further back. You'll see me do it in the video, but once you've done that, just pull it back down to the knuckle joint and make sure it doesn't come off. Just take a look at that, and obviously it'll show you. It's not really easy to do it while I'm trying to film at the same time. Right, so by holding the bird in, obviously your hand, which is mine's my right-handed, holding the feet, 3 claws forward like that. It's not easy to actually show on camera. This is the ring that I banded earlier. Slip it over. You've got obviously 1 claw bigger than the other. Make sure all 3 toes are in and 1 to the back. You'll see it in the diagram also. Like that. This doesn't hurt birds at all. Pull the back claw out, and there you go. Ring is on. Nice and healthy, 5 days old. Ringing should really be done at 5 days. Now, some birds will need doing at 4 days, some at 6, some even at 7. This is where it comes into play, is knowing at a glance, yeah, that's big enough or that's not big enough. But always try them at 5 days. I mean, at a squeeze you'll probably be able to get that ring on if it's a bigger bird. I've had the problem with greenfinches myself, trying to ring them at 4 days and it doesn't go on. In fact, there's a greenfinch up here that she's not got no ring on, couldn't get it on, and I didn't want to damage her. I thought I'd rather leave her in here, not sell her and use her myself, and damage her foot. So yeah, check them at 4 days, but 5 days ideally. 6 days, it really is a push. But like I said, sometimes you will get in the nest, if you've got a nest of 4 or 5, you will get one slightly runted than the others. and that might need doing the day after. Just bear that in mind. But as soon as they're all done, it's just a matter of sitting back and making sure that the ends are not going to pull them out of the nest. So basically, that is the top and bottom of ringing. But today, obviously, being Wednesday, I went out to collect some bits, get some tablets. I've got a terrible cold. And here presto, I went to Asda. 20p a bunch of broccoli. 20p. Needless to say, I walked out with a few of them. For a couple of quid, that'll last, well, as long as it'll last, basically, before it starts to go off. Could easily put it in the fridge to slow the aging of it. But yeah, I mean, this is all the thing about bird keeping, is try and do things as cheaply as possible and as easy as possible. That brings me on to this cage here, and I've had some funny comments from me talking about the bird porn, but at the end of the day, the bullfinches wouldn't settle in here. So now I've put them in one of the flights. Peregrine finches are in here, and I don't know what it is with this front nest site. The greenfinch is already building in there. The bullfinch was. I'll show you on the picture on the one on Friday. But for some reason, she started building over this side, dropping the eggs on the floor. She just wouldn't settle, and it's like I've said, I think it's because when I come in and feed the birds, I'm constantly walking past to the sink, which is here. And I just don't think she wanted to settle right. But there'll be more on that in the future episodes, which is actually a week on Friday. This Friday is finishing off the part 2 of Derek Oldknow's film, and I've been asked so many times, when is it coming on, when is it coming on? So finally part 2 ready for you. And it's a brilliant watch, action-packed as the first one. Following that, like I said, next Wednesday we'll have midweek tips. Following Friday, another update on the shed and just what's going on at that period. So that will be it for today. So thanks for watching, and I hope this has helped you out. If you haven't already, like and subscribe and leave a thumbs up. Share this video with someone that might need to know this knowledge, because ringing is crucial and it's something that we really need to start doing and keep doing to keep the hobby on the right track where we want it. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the sun. It's been a lovely couple of days out there. Weather's meant to be turning a bit crappy again, but enjoy it while it's here. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of the evening.